Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into another video. Today we're going to be looking at the Storm Absolute. That's a brand new one from the OG Storm company. So looking forward to looking over this one with you guys. Of course, if you have not yet, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell notification to know when I put out my latest videos. And also like the video if you do indeed like the video. I know that 80% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel, so again, if you could do me a solid, hit that subscription button, make that red turn gray, that would be greatly appreciated. Huge thank you to Storm and I Am Bowling for their continued support. I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing nowadays if it wasn't for them, so a huge thank you to Storm and I Am Bowling. You can use my promo code down here for I Am Bowling. It's going to be Firehouse07. You can use that at checkout. Save yourself 20% off of your entire I Am Bowling apparel order. They do sell bowling balls, so head on over, get yourself a nice Storm bowling ball and a nice jersey, a nice little combo pack there, and continue to support me and be the reason why I'm able to kind of do these videos for you guys. So they do have jerseys, t-shirts, long sleeves, hoodies, bowling balls as well, so head on over there or head out to your local Storm VIP Pro Shop and check out all the products that they have there for you. All right, so now we're going to dive into the Storm Absolute. So the Absolute layout is going to be a 5x4 by 2.5 in the VLS layout system. The first pattern that we're going to be bowling on, I'm going to compare the Absolute to the Storm Nova. That pattern is going to be a 41-foot typical house shot. Then I'm going to throw the Absolute for you guys on a sport shot. It's going to be 44-foot Kegel titanium. That'll be the last sequence of shots that you will see there. I'll have that that pattern on the right side of the screen for you guys so you know what I'm bowling on there. But other than that, that should be all I got. Let's dive into seeing how this Absolute rolls down the lane. You guys stay tuned. Alright, so let us talk about this Storm Absolute. So this Absolute, obviously, because it is a Storm ball, it's got a scent. The scent is orange cream soda. Now I get more of a cream soda scent rather than more of a fruity, orangey sort of scent, but regardless, it does meet my kind of approval with this scent, so good job. So let's talk about this R2 as a deep hybrid cover stock. So this comes out of box with a Reactigloss finish. This is the second time this R2S deep hybrid cover stock has ever been used, and the first time stateside. So because it's kind of a newer sort of cover, I don't exactly have an updated chart for where this R2S deep kind of fits in. So I did pose a question to kind of my staff group, our staff group that we have for Storm, and a couple of staffers did kind of chime in, and one of them was Luke Rosedal. Now, if you don't know who Luke Rosedal is, he's an incredibly intelligent guy that does bowling reviews and stuff for Storm, and like I said, he's incredibly intelligent when it comes to a lot of the technical features that are kind of in these bowling balls, and he kind of confirmed, I guess, what I was kind of thinking, and that kind of is that R2S Deep is actually a little bit weaker than what the original OG R2S is. R2S is currently, it sits 22nd in 27 of the strongest cores, so it's the 22nd strongest. R2S Deep, if we put that below R2S, is actually going to sit 23rd out of 28 cores, and really the only thing underneath it would be urethane and polyester. So this bowling ball, this cover on this bowling ball is very weak, and I think is something that is very intriguing to me, because we never see them put weaker sort of cover stocks. I shouldn't say never, but we hardly ever see them put really weak cover stocks on an asymmetric bowling ball. So really looking forward to seeing how this ball works out kind of longevity wise and see where it kind of fits into my bag. So now, sorry, I kind of ran over here, but now we're going to talk about this Nova. Now, this Nova for me kind of fits in that daddy ball category. I really do like the Nova. It's in my bag. I think it's going to stay in my bag for a long time. This Nova features the R2X hybrid cover stock. Now, this is, in my eyes, significantly stronger than what regular R2S Deep is. But in reality, it fits in 20th out of 28 of the strongest cover stocks. This is the third time this cover stock's ever been used in the States. It's been used 6 times total. This is actually the same cover that's used on the Virtual Energy, and it comes out of box at 3,000. The core, and this is the ignition core. This is the ninth time that it's ever been used. the second time stateside. Obviously, the latest was in the Supernova that came out last year. RG on this ball is 249, differential is 052. Again, I really am a big fan of this Nova. It's going to stay in my bag, I think, for a long time until I find something that kind of fits in. I think this ball, like I said, is significantly stronger, I would say, than the Absolute. Now, on the lanes, I think I was probably 3 boards left with this Nova than I was the Absolute. So that would translate to 3 and 2, so looking 2 left with my eyes. It certainly felt like I kind of had some adult bumpers on the right side with this ball. If I got this ball out, I had no problem with thinking this ball was going to, certainly hook back and react kind of off that dry. And again, I'm a really big fan of this Nova. If I get into a pinch, get into a funk, need to do something, I will automatically switch to this Nova because I know I'm going to find the pocket and probably strike a lot with this Nova. So, all right, now we're going to jump into, I'm going to throw this ball on a sport shot. Now, this is 44-foot titanium. You can see the pattern up there on the right side of your screen. I had kind of 2 lines that I was kind of able to play with this Absolute, but I kind of played the inside line because obviously, that's kind of where you're supposed to be on a longer sport shot. However, the last couple frames did not go well for that. But let's jump into the Sentinel core. So this is the first time this core design has been used. And now something interesting that I think Matt Gasson, my sales rep, kind of mentioned is this core design does not feature a weighted puck at the bottom of this core. Now, if you look at a lot of the ASIM cores and even some of the symmetrical cores, there's a puck that's located at the bottom of the weight block, and that's used for extra torque, to kind of get that ball to rev up, to flip, to do what they need it to do. Balls that don't necessarily have that weighted puck are cores like the Reality, and I believe even the Gem does not have a weighted puck at the bottom. And that's probably because those are really big cores and some that are going to tumble really well, so they didn't necessarily feel the need to put that weighted puck at the bottom. So numbers on this Absolute is the RG is 248, differential is 050, and the mass bias on this ball is 021. Now that tells me that this core is really asymmetric. It's really asymmetric compared to some of the other cores that are out there. But this ball, with that R2S on it, it's not a ball that's certainly going to overreact. I mean, this is a ball that's going to stay in play. Might not necessarily be enough when you're bowling on stuff like this 44-foot titanium pattern. I would certainly use something else before this Absolute, but it's certainly a ball that's going to stay in play and probably a ball that you can use on some stuff that maybe you wouldn't expect an asymmetric to be able to be used on. All right, so we saw the Absolute and the Nova roll down the lane. First impressions of this Absolute is it's certainly one of the more weaker ASIMs that I think I've ever thrown, and that's obviously probably because of that R2S Deep cover stock that we have on there. It's weaker than any other ASIM that I've thrown as of late. It really does remind me, if I were to drill a ball negatively, so normally we got the fingers here. Normally that's going to be the pin, mass bias, CG, whatever, is going to be towards your dominant hand, more or less. Obviously, people might have them stacked or they might have them flared out a bunch. But generally, those three, at least the CG and the mass bias, is going to be kicked out towards your dominant hand. Now, when I say drill a ball negatively, that's going to be obviously drilled to the other side. So that's going to be drilled, or those are going to be kicked out or flared towards your non-dominant hand. In my case, it would be towards my left hand if you're looking at that with the holes up. I did that with a, let's see if I can remember it. It was a Rotogrip, one of the cells, Hypercell fused. I did that with a Hypercell fuse and just absolutely whacked it with that Hypercell fuse. That was like my go-to for pretty much everything. So certainly when you drill a ball up negatively, it can certainly be a good thing. And again, this ball kind of reminds me of if I were to drill something up negatively, I would get sort of this similar reaction. So it's certainly good, even though that it's weaker than really anything that, at least any other ASIM that's kind of out on the market right now. So who's it for? Well, this weaker cover and smoother shape kind of tilts me towards a couple of different people. It's certainly for people who need something smooth, like heavy-handed, slower speed sort of players. I think this ball is going to really play into you. You're going to be able to really kind of hit that ball, and this ball really isn't going to overreact too much. It's also going to work really well on kind of burn patterns, something where it's pretty beat up. Wood lanes, certainly I think this is going to really whack them on wood lanes, especially if you're looking for kind of like an ASIM sort of weight block, but you bowl on wood lanes, so it might be a hair stronger. I think this ball is going to really, really do well for you guys as well. Kind of some shorter, flatter patterns. I think this will help as well. Heck, I could even see myself throwing this on, like a short pattern, something like that's 36, 37, 35 feet, somewhere in that range. I could really see myself throwing this one on sort of that flatter pattern. So I honestly think you're going to, once we get into the tour season here, I think you're going to see this ball on TV quite a bit, especially when someone's really trying to control the pattern and control that back end part of the lane. I think you're going to see, a couple of pros, certainly Storm staffers using this one on TV quite a bit. So it will be in my bag for tournaments. It'll probably be in my bag for when I do the World Series PTQ. This one will certainly probably be in my bag. So this is going to be one that maybe I'm not going to take to like league tournaments or anything like that, but this is certainly going to be in my bag anytime I bowl on a sport shot. So even though it's weaker, maybe I didn't, so to say, like the reaction on sort of something, on the patterns that I bowled on here. League shot just seems to be a little too weak for our league shot. Maybe if we're on a shorter league shot, something that's like 39 or 40 feet, it might be a little better. 41, I think, is just a hair too long for it. Obviously, 44 feet, I think, was too much volume, a little too long for this ball as well. But I think if you really get on those shorter patterns, this ball is really, really going to thrive. So let me know if you're going to get an absolute. Let me know if this video kind of made you lean one way or the other, whether you're going to get one, whether you're not going to get one. Make sure you let me know down in the comments down below. Up next, we have the Storm Revenant. This one I absolutely love. Just shot 750 with this Revenant last night. It really, really is a good ball. But until that Revenant comes out, guys, good luck and good bowling.